And now we are having people from St. Petersburg and the story of open studio Nepokorennie, Anastasia Shavlokhova and Anastasia Skvortsova, who are going to present the story, and Елизавета Матвеева will help us. We started working even earlier. At the beginning of 2007, Ivan Plusch, Ilya Gaponov, and Anastasia Shavlokhova were communicating a lot when we started at Baron Stiglitz Academy in St. Petersburg, and we were thinking how we could create a gallery or non-commercial space, because we were worrying that St. Petersburg art was not presented on Russia's art scene. People know Timur Novikov's academy, Pushkin 10, and so we were really worrying about this, and we were thinking what we should do. So the first exhibition was related to the Dialogues Festival in St. Petersburg Manege in February 2007, and we created the exhibition called Fairy Tale, which is dead now. This exhibition was very successful, and we created a commercial organization that was involved in monumental painting of public spaces. So we received lots of orders and commissions, and we began to work. And Kronwerk Cinema Company and Eduard Pichugin, the owner of this company, became our principal customers. And he had lots of cinemas in St. Petersburg. So we painted many cinemas, and he also said that he had a business center. But business center used to be a rocket plant, and it was not in the center of the city. It's in the some industrial area. It was difficult for us to think what we could do, because it looked like a very long corridor. It was like a technical floor, some extra structures on the roof with all kind of technical rubbish and waste collected there. There was no heat system. But since we were quite successful commercially, we thought that we would make something good out of this space. We cleaned it, we installed windows and doors, we put heaters there, so we have electrical heating system, and in May 2008 we opened our doors to the first visitors.
So everybody scared us, saying that you're not in the center, you're out there in the industrial zone, though we're pretty close from the metro station, just 15 minutes walk. What result quite soon, the journalists started coming to us. You see now the pictures just from the window, the view from the window, just the ramp on one side, the industrial zone, and here you see the studios. We divided the space, total space of 800 meters. We split it into 12 individual rooms, 10 studios and 2 industrial studios, where one was used as a printing house. Silkography was done in one of them, and the next one was just a common place, and then we'll have a full-size gallery and an office building, office space. Well, last summer there was there were a lot of publications in the press, the printed press. So you see here the events we had arranged, some pictures, and here's the media about us, showing great interest for our activities, because there was no such studio in St. Petersburg. There was just Pushkinsky number 10, and then just individual scattered studios. So our task was to attract, a place which could be a magnet for young artists who would love to, distribute and show their works in our studio. Well, so 3 studios are occupied by permanent exhibitions just for the same artist, and the rest had to change once a year or every quarter, but as a result we don't have such frequent changes. Well, that's relevant to certain moral and ethical problems, because once letting in an artist to a place, it's very hard to say goodbye, telling him that now your term is over, because usually, well, an artist are only just getting accustomed to the place for 3 months, starting feeling they're quite at ease and in the right place, and then he'll have to collect his things. So it's a very difficult process. Once we thought about inviting some Western artists. We already had some expats living, so we also started actively, promoting our presence there, just inviting more and more attracting people. We arranged techno parties, concerts, exhibitions, and once a year we did this festival called Video Захват, or video capture. And 2004, well, this love project Дожить, and its art director Ilya offered to us to arrange an exhibition of student artists. We had invited more artists, altogether 30 artists. Well, it was called Память полей, or Memory of the Fields. Now I'm showing you some images from this exhibition. So you see here some glimpses of exposure. So it turned out that on the same day, well, there was a big opening of exhibition of some really high-profile artist at the Hermitage. There was a big, party of visitors from Moscow. So in the evening, since there was no place for them to go, they had been taken to us to the opening of our gallery, and that was a wonderful coincidence. And so everybody knew that there is a new wave of young artists in St. Petersburg. So after that, we had even better situation. We started being visited by, galleries and art lovers. And now a few words about the organizing structure. We're not paying rent for the space, but every year we make a contribution. Otherwise, each resident gives one of his works into the foundation of Edward Pichugin, who is the landlord. And also, each artist makes pays a monthly fee of 2,000 rubles to the fund of the studio, which is used for operating and administrative expenses. And as you may see, 10 residents makes up only for 20,000 rubles, and up to 2010, one of the principles of student operation was, and since I was also a curator and director of the studio, was involved in promoting the artists as their art manager and art dealer. Well, the deal was that from every sale arranged through the studio had to pay the commission of 15% to the fund of the studio. Thanks to this contribution, back in 2010, we made an exhibition called under the logo of Space of Silence. We had arranged and made it at the Znamya plant in St. Petersburg, and we opened this exhibition of occupying the premise of about 3,000 square meters. And again, we never got any grant or any funding from the authorities. And for this exhibition, in 2009, we were unable to raise no additional funding, and we were we got little help from the French Institute, who brought 2 of their artists, but altogether had the works of 40 artists. And in this building, where you see the work of Andrei Koskin, Bertrand Poulan from France, Piotr Biele. We also invited our friends, Moscow artists, and Anya Sutova, Sasha Sukhareva, and other names. So many artists. That was pretty big, high-profile events, which we were able to arrange thanks to the sales through the gallery. So, well, the space was absolutely terrible, in a terrible state, but we used all the artifacts left there on the floor, so we used it as ready-mades, and it turned out to be a very good exhibition. And perhaps since we are much closer from Moscow, one of the biggest tourist cities, well, we always had a lot of visitors. Well, the studio was open for admission, and the artists, well, from the first studio times and the second studio, they make pretty good careers. They're quite successful, and basically the target of the studio was development of our horizontal communications. And even knowing that we'll have several galleries or artists, we never limited, the scope of our activities just by the participants of the exhibition. We always were open and invited people from the outside, professionals from the outside, and we were always happy just to demonstrate works of new artists and to show them. And particularly that's what Nastya Kvartsova is doing in our gallery, to whom I pass the floor. Well, catching up this story about the gallery, I want to add a little bit more about how it all turned out and materialized. So the historical part of the studio, where the studio it's just only part of the story, and the gallery is located on the floor where the business center is working. And that's a very interesting, interaction, because 100 square meters of this white cube. For the first year, there was even no door, and people who have no relation to art, to any art, periodically were present at the opening events, and that was quite an interesting trick, which I wanted to use. As a result, there was no kind of permanent, stable dialogue, but well, still it was quite an interesting interaction. And we still keep on working in that direction. So basically the purpose of our gallery, perhaps what Nastya was doing at the early start of her launch, well, we're looking for young artists in St. Petersburg. I regularly watch and follow just the new, every graduate, wave from the artistic institutions. Well, we're looking who is really active, who really wants to go further. We start with offering, possibility to exhibit their works in our galleries. Just as a minimum, we offer to make an exhibition. And for them and for many of the artists, it was already big help in the beginning, and certainly push ahead. Even if they don't come and continue with the exhibition, still they come, they start intermingling with those who already participate in our project. We help them how to fill in the applications, etc. And even now, well, the Prom Art, who is doing quite a lot of young artists, well, and who are being helped to properly write CVs and applications. And I had to do it in the first days because nobody else could help them. So this is also quite an important part of the studio, but just as a kind of a starting, point for young artists. And I forgot to include here some illustrations. Well, we had also some experience in arranging exhibitions of artists from abroad, from Paris and other places, but mainly, of course, we deal and we exhibit local artists from St. Petersburg. And the only thing which didn't allow us to transfer the legal status of the student and the permanent resident, well, we can't use it overnight hours. Since we can't stay overnight in this place, well, we have certain problems concerning that, but still we are open for you. Please approach us and apply to us either for studio spaces or for exhibitions. We received the applications, but the last word is ours, so we select actually the exhibitors. And sometimes, not all the applications are equally valid, because sometimes we start working with some of them and it goes nowhere. And again, as a union, as an amalgamation, we're also attempting to arrange group exhibitions. Well, like, the fields and the space of silence. And back in 2013, we had 2 crossover exhibitions, one in Holland, another in St. Petersburg, then 2 exhibitions in Moscow in the recent 2 years. And quite soon we'll show the development and progression of the artists through 10-15 years of their participation in our studios.